Welcome trainers to the series where we update the type chart and edit all 18 types with my own changes as well as some of your own input. From the interactions they have with other types, certain battle effects associated with the type, and any alterations we can make to existing information regarding the type. We'll be covering the normal type today, and on paper, it's a pretty basic type. It's intentionally basic as a result of being normal. So how do we go about changing it? Following the rules I've set, which you can see in the rules video. I'm not keen on the normal type, but can appreciate the simplicity. Sometimes you don't need to have a power to be powerful, and if anything, normal Pokemon get access to a large move pool, so you can always keep your opponent guessing which type you'll use. Also, adding the normal type on a Pokemon with an established element allows it to access plenty of coverage moves and can help counter the weaknesses it has. Not to mention what I like to refer to as insert type here but with a ghost immunity. In battle, normal type moves aren't amazing. They hit everything neutrally but can't hit ghost Pokemon. They also do resisted damage to rock and steel.
Defensively, it only has one weakness to fighting, and it's amazing how ghost moves can't touch them.
This can be explained by normal representing the average Joe. Just a plain individual with no outstanding qualities, just doing an average impact on most types. I can understand by hitting rock and steel materials you're not going to make much of an impact, unless of course you're a Minecraft character, in which case you can destroy everything with your bare hands. However, ghosts having an immunity to normal isn't quite clear to me. In our world, it implies the standard individual, you and me in this case, are unable to make any impact to those that are passed on, yet other types are able to hit ghosts for at least neutral damage. Ghost Pokemon can't be affected by a normal physical object, yet Ice has no problem chilling them out. Try touching a ghost and it won't work, but throw a rock at it and it'll deal damage. To me, the logic of ghosts not being affected by normal is ridiculous. If that's the case, then types representing physical existence like ice, rock, dragon, steel, etc. shouldn't deal any damage to ghosts either. Therefore, I feel the immunity should be a neutral hit, as normal is all about being neutral. If you're not satisfied, however, I'll go as far as saying a resisted hit, since you can argue people don't make much of an impact to spirits. This can be backed by plenty of ghost hunter teams and paranormal videos online, with people not making much progress with their investigations. What should definitely be a resisted hit, however, is the interaction between normal to fighting. If normal is the average Joe, then fighting is an expert in, well, fighting. Typically a more broad build, refined body which has undergone training, with plenty of experience taking hits. If Simple Simon was to take on a martial arts professional, the hits delivered would of course make an impact, but not much of an impact. Now we've altered the typings, let's look at what you guys have said. Plenty of comments discussing the potential to buff the normal type. However, Theo Flair states that normal doesn't need a buff, since it would go against being normal. This is true. We don't want to go crazy and just have it be super effective against other types, just for the sake of it being super effective. Less is more in this case, which I can respect. However, Pokémon, and subsequently the type chart, was first introduced in the late 90s, an era where normal was the norm. Being normal was the standard, and being so didn't have much impact in society, which was reflected brilliantly in Pokémon by normal just being neutral to everything besides rock and ghost, seeing how steel didn't exist yet. In today's day and age, however, society is about subverting expectations and being anything but normal. Sticking out and highlighting your best qualities as anything but normal is the new norm. Therefore, I'm going to have to lean towards what Marcus said about normal being super effective to normal. Back then, yes, normal being neutral to normal makes sense, but for an updated type chart, we need to stay updated with the times. Give normal the edge against itself to showcase just how being yourself is your normal, and shouldn't have to be another person's normal. You can make an impact to others just by being you. A little preachy, I know, but normal moves being super effective to itself would shake up so many mirror matches like a Snorlax showdown, or allowing powerful moves such as Hyper Beam and Facade to be wall breakers to Pokemon that would otherwise survive the hits. Could also spice up the early to mid game in a playthrough and encourage players to use normal types instead of neglecting them for cooler Pokemon with an element. Now looking at Static the God King, where he mentions making other moves stab regardless, I'm going to have to disagree with your point, but I will edit the sentiment. You want to buff up the normal type, which is great, but just powering them up all around, or allowing all their moves to do 50% additional damage, would take away from the simplicity, and under the right conditions, would just break the game, and people would be using normal types left, right and centre. I've been thinking, and I think I've come up with a cool concept, so let me know in the comments what you think. In competitive, it's all about setting up the field to your advantage, be it speed control, or weather or terrain, setting up screens, or simply setting up traps. It's all about changing the battlefield with another element's influence. But what if normal types could get a buff in a neutral battlefield? How about, before all that setup, normal Pokemon on the field have an increased chance of getting a critical hit? I'm not saying it'll be a 50-50 chance, but if normal types can have an advantage in a normal environment before it's edited by different battle effects, then some players may want to gamble not setting up, in exchange for hitting a critical hit turn 1, or even in the endgame where all the effects have ended. I can definitely see it being broken in the story mode, so maybe it'll have to be a full HP situation. It's just a little incentive for players to risk not setting up in exchange for a powerful early blow. And it may just be the risk-reward feature that will see players edit their strategies to either focus on one-shotting early on, or bring in countermeasures like Shell Armor or Sandstream to shut down the opponent from trying their luck. So those are just my thoughts, and here's how the type chart looks. Do you agree or disagree, or have any changes? Make sure to join the community over on Facebook and Discord to have your say on the next type. Also make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next type update. Until then, however, make sure to train hard and team build to the best of your ability. I'll see you guys in the next video.